For weeks now, Kyiv has been pleading for more military aid, more weapons and defense capabilities. Slovakia is answering that call, sending Ukraine its S-300 air defense system full of anti-aircraft missiles. According to Slovakia's Prime Minister, the country is considering sending fighter jets as well. Last week, Prime Minister E.Hegger visited Ukraine with Ursula von der Leyen, seeing the country's devastation for himself. And he joins me now from Bratislava. Thank you for being with us, Prime Minister. Let me ask you first about this potential plan to send your country's Russian-made MiG fighter jets to Ukraine. Is that going to go ahead?
Well, first of all, I have to say that we are in close coordination with the Ukrainian armed forces, and we respond to their request. At this moment, there hasn't been request for the MiG-29s. On the other hand, the MiG-29s without Russian support, which we denied at this moment, they are not sustainable long term. So within a couple, I would say, months, they will be not useful for us. And we, on the other hand, waiting for the F-16s to arrive next year. And in the meanwhile, we go speak to our partners in NATO, in close vicinity countries around, to protect our airspace after the MiG-29s will stop working.
Right. So you operate a fleet of MiG-29s, Russian-made fighter jets. You're saying that without Russian support, they will have to go out of commission very soon. So why not send them to Ukraine in the meantime? Have you discussed this with your NATO partners, and are they on board with this plan?
The discussion has been ongoing ever since the whole war started. We're discussing several things. But like I said, it first depends on the request of Ukraine. And there was a clear request on the S-300, which I'm so glad that it worked out and we were able to provide it. And on the other equipment, we'll be speaking. The second request that they have is rather repair of their equipment, since we are a close neighbor right next door. So we right now working on helping them with the repairs of their equipment.
So they've not requested the fighter jets, is what you're saying. Now, you mentioned the S-300. This is a Russian anti-aircraft system as well. This is something that you've given to Ukraine while you wait for the Patriot missile system from the United States, correct?
Yes, actually, it is Soviet-made. It's really old. It's from 1987, and yes, the whole situation we needed to prepare. And thanks to the negotiation with the United States, we were able to receive the Patriots instead, and therefore we were able to give our system S-300 to Ukraine, which they have experience with.
So far they've requested the anti-aircraft systems, as well as they've asked you to help repair some of their weapon systems and vehicles, I imagine.
Yes.
Is that correct?
They also interested in buying most likely the howitzer Susanna, and this is being in a very detailed negotiation at this moment as well.
Let me ask you about the question that has really been at the heart of the hesitation of some of the countries in the beginning, like Germany, to even arm Ukraine, which is the energy dependency that so many European countries have on Russian oil and gas. Your own country imports basically almost all of its oil from Russia. Do you still import it? Are you still sending that money in return for these energy shipments to Russia? And in that sense, are you not contributing to the financing of the war from the Russian side?
Yes, this is a very sensitive issue, and yes, we are fully dependent on gas and also oil, and therefore we put a lot of effort in also with the countries who are as dependent as us, but also with the other countries within the whole European Union, very intensively to find an alternative. We've been doing different calculation and looking for LNG. It seems like the LNG is the quickest alternative. But unfortunately, we have to prepare the infrastructure because, as you know, there's around 100 billion of cubic meters of gas that would be missing, and it's a huge amount at this moment. So we're working very hard and very closely, very intensively on.
How long will that take?
Well, it could take definitely a question of months and possibly years, but we're looking for all the possible alternatives since the dependency was so high. And it's really a pity that we didn't do more in the past.
Yeah, and I want to ask you one last question. These unpredictable consequences that Russia is threatening in that diplomatic note that it sent to the United States, do you take that to mean unconventional weapons, biological, or even nuclear?
Well, on one hand, we have to take everything in mean, of course, but on the other hand, we know that Russia's been fighting also this hybrid warfare, these psychological operations, and threatening and really trying to break the unity that we have in the democratic world, and we cannot allow that. So we should not be afraid. We should really be bold and really face the danger and help Ukraine as much as we can. We see that it works, and they reaching success in certain areas, and that's a very good sign. And we, as a close neighbor, and also people we know Ukrainians very well, we have very close contacts with them. So it's in our great interest to help them to win this war and get the Russian troops out of their territory and really have and keep their democracy and freedom, which they've been fighting by their own lives, which is really so horrible that in the 21st century that we have to face this kind of brutal war on the territory of our neighbor.
There, we're seeing an image of you meeting with President Zelensky a few weeks ago in Kyiv, and I know you visited the outskirts of the city as well. Thank you very much for joining us, the Slovakian Prime Minister E.Hegger, live from Bratislava. And still to come tonight,